Hey nerds, how you doing today, huh? You looking good. Who's ready for some plot? Okay, so this is going to be a different plot video than before. We're going to be talking about the units as they are, how powerful they are in terms of the game, and well, we'll see how they all stand, shall we? So, one thing that you do need to realize at least is that 3 of them are tome users, which is pretty interesting. We need some better tome units, so hopefully all of them are pretty good. Fortunately, Jay could not join us, who was going to. He's off in the stratosphere somewhere, so unfortunately I'm all by my lonesome, and we will talk about these units as they go along. We're going to start from probably weakest to, you know, better. I'm not really saying any of them are all that weak, but we do have to talk about one unit real quick since we can. And that, unfortunately, is our good old boyo, the Tomato Prince. Where are you, buddy? I'm out of it. There we go. And let's just put up his stats on the left side. Boink. Real quick, before we go through the stats. All of these are neutral, meaning that they do not have any boons or bangs. So these, of course, will change based on which ones you got. And the attack value does not include the might of the weapon, so you're going to have to add 12 to that, which would be 44, I believe. Yep, 44. Sorry, I didn't actually see what the Tomato Tome's might was. I have my screen up, but I just can't read it too well. Anyways, alright, so here's our lovely Leo.
I guess I should get some gifts for my retainers?
Sure, I don't know. But mostly, one thing that's always really interesting about when it comes to heroes that kind of get turned into these special units, usually they kind of mirror their stats. So I was really worried that when it came to Leo that we would see his speed come into play here, and unfortunately it seems like for the most part that's kind of still here. And this time at least, he is Sans horse, so therefore he does not have the capabilities of running with a horse emblem team, which kind of was the only real reason a lot of people used Leo as a red tome unit. Unfortunately, he still kind of has that problem. Outside of that, his attack is decent, and the one thing that's really odd here is that usually, at least with normal Leo, he had a lot of defense. I guess just wearing trunks, we'll get to that in a bit, it kind of hurts him there, but he gains a lot of resistance, and this time he actually has quite a lot more resistance. And all in all, Summer Leo is probably one of the weaker units that you can pull, so honestly, when it comes down to this unit, and since we know what's coming, at least for, you know, summons, or at least we can have an idea, I would say if you really want a red tome unit, I would wait for the Tempest Trials that are going to feature Celica, because Leo, while he's, you know, he's a cool kid, and, you know, he's wearing trunks, and I'm sure some people really are into the fan service and still are going to try for him anyways, but I would say wait for Celica. He can be a decent, he's not terrible. He's pretty good in his own right, but, you know, you could aim for better, I would say. He's probably BA-ish material, somewhere around there. Maybe a little bit more, but the speed kind of hurts him a little bit. You can augment that, though. Alright, moving on. Let's talk about the next unit that we have here that I don't actually have. Yep, that's right. I still don't have Corrin. One day I will try and get Corrin, but I'm going to have to scroll on down and instead pull her up on this side. Poor novice vacationer. I'm going to put her stats over on the left side. Doink. And from there, you can see that, well, Corrin kind of is, her stats are interesting. One thing to note, though, is that her speed is actually quite good. Especially if you manage to get one with, again, a speed boon would be fantastic for her, and an attack boon would also be pretty good. She can do a lot of damage, be well, a terror because she can move quite far, and, you know, of course has range beyond range in some ways. Mostly, though, she's an interesting unit because she's one of the rare types out there that is a flyer tome unit, which means that, yeah, that's something we haven't seen since Easter with Camilla, and now we have Corrin, who is, well, the same exact thing, but also blue, and honestly, from what I can see, quite a bit more viable, I think, than Camilla in some regards. But still, her stats are decent enough. What really makes her special, though, is that she just has that flyer thing. You can make a flyer emblem team that has reliable blade tomes now. You're not just, regulated to one, certain thing with green tomes. Instead, now we have a blue tome unit out there, and she could do quite a bit of damage, especially if you happen to have a flyer emblem team. Her movement's great, her speed is great, her HP and even her defense and resistance are actually something that are noticeably good. At least for her defense and resistance. Her HP is not that great, but, one archer will probably kill her, but you're not going to want to move her into archer range anyways, unless you're going to kill them. So, yeah, not only that, she already comes with 4 to 5 flyers, which is a nice little bonus for those who want it. That means, buff up the defense and the resistance. That was really hard talking there. And in case you ever want to just move it over, kill her off, and give it to another flyer. I'm kidding, don't actually do that. Or maybe do, I don't really care what you do. Summer Corrin, fascinating, probably one of the better units there. And definitely someone you will want to aim for because she can be potentially a monster. And someone you will want to try to aim for. That's actually something that's going to be happening with a lot of these units here, because surprisingly, a lot of them are pretty good, at least. We'll get into that in a bit, but now, here is the next unit. That remember how we mentioned that apparently Leo losing his, armor and gaining a swimsuit apparently hurt him in the defense category? Well, here is our good friend Xander to basically show us that that does not exist. And boink, of course. One thing to note here is that for Xander is suddenly, he ditched his speed from his normal thing. I guess ditching that armor gave him a lot more speed, but also gave him more defense. This is really odd. I'm just looking that over and just going, how does that work? He has 36 defense normally, and he's, here he is just with a floaty and some trunks. That's odd. But, mostly he has quite the speed, especially if you get a boon in that. Attack and speed, of course, are the boons you're going to want to aim for him, for obvious reasons. I can't get over that. His defense is fantastic. His attack is decent enough. I mean, with that is 46 with his floaty, which means he's going to be hitting the higher points of actual damage if you manage to stack some abilities on there. He will be a pretty powerful green axe unit, and honestly, he already comes with glowing ember, which, will eventually turn into bonfire, and from that's even better. That will accent his defense boost, but mostly we have infantry pulse, which seems to be something that might be trying to make... I don't think IS is really attempting to try and make a, infantry emblem. Like, maybe this is their kind of way of working around that, because I don't think they wanted to give infantry buffs to everything, because, well, that would make every character that isn't, horse, flyer, or armor potentially overpowered, so they're trying to go around it with certain new abilities, like infantry pulse here, which will just, I mean, for any infantry ally with at least one fewer HP than this unit, that's pretty powerful. That could be potentially game-changing in some ways, as long as you build him correctly. Not only that, but Xander himself is incredibly... I mean, my god. Not only that, but I'm pretty sure that takes up a C slot, which is even better. That's just phenomenal to me. I didn't expect Xander like this to be as powerful as he is. So naturally, I honestly think he is probably one of the best units you can get, and we'll be talking about now his little sister, since we can, real quick. Let's just put that down, and let's pull up darling little Elise. Here are her stats at, well, level 40 and 4 stars, as you can see. Oh my god, she could potentially, she's getting there. I'm gonna pull up Nina's stats real quick, because honestly, she's she potentially outdoes Nino in some ways. Yeah, she does. Okay, to give you a comparison, a lot of people love Nino because she has certain things. Again, these are neutral stats for Elise, alright? So, Nino at neutral has 33 attack, and she has 36 speed. Elise has a little less speed, but more attack, so potentially, if you do build her in such ways, Elise could be terrifying. And not only that, but, you know, that's not including boons and banes and things like that, which again, yeah, it's just so odd. My god, I'm sorry, 1 second, I'm just, for some reason, my notes are all screwed up here. Anyways, but yes, I mean, god, Elise here is probably one of the better green tomes to come out in the game recently. We had Sonia last time, and she was pretty good, but Elise is beyond that. She has the speed and the attack to really pack punches because right now, again, speed is the biggest priority and attack follows as quickly after as that. And, you know, not only that, you know, here we have, of course, that gives her 48 attack neutrally. Now, if you have boons in attack, that gets over 50. So that's just alarming. And of course, you know, granted, I don't really care about it, you know, rally, attack, and resistance, okay. But, you know, in Green Tome Valor, sure, why not? But still, Elise is probably the best unit you can get out of this right now. Right now, best unit. At least from what I can see, based on pure stats. Not to say that Xander is not great and that Corrin is not great. They are all pretty equal. This one has a lot of great tome units for those who want it outside of Leo, and honestly, I'm really happy to see this because, well, last summer was the last summer banner, you know, with all the Elysian ones were at times, so it's good to see that at least we're going to have some competition. I mean, Elise is pretty close to Nino, and it's really odd to see that, but it's really good. I figured because Elise as a healer was already pretty innately great, at least stat-wise, so to see her transfer over to a tome, which is what she kind of needed in some ways, is even better, and especially a green tome unit, which we don't see a lot of these days, at least a lot of good ones. I'm looking at you, Bowie, and whatever the other guy named that had Excalibur. Merrick, I think? I don't really care. Anyways, guys, that was just my brief overview of what I think of the summer banner. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, and if you don't, well, that's too bad. I'm sorry I insulted Leo. He just wants clothes, guys. He just wants clothes. Outside of that, how goes your pulls, guys? I hope you all have a good attempt at what you get. I'm going to try and grind up some more orbs since I can and see if I can't get a few more pulls, because I really want to try for female Corrin. Anyways, guys, enjoy the summer. See you all very soon.